And welcome back to another Elder Emunk Reactions. So as you probably know, this is the 20th year anniversary of Linkin Park's Meteora, and because of that, the band has been hard at work, not just working on collector editions and new prints and vinyl releases, but they've also going back to the archives and pulling out some new songs. Well, I guess they're not new because they recorded them 20 years ago, but they're new for all of us, and it has been super exciting, super emotional to hear obviously Chester's voice again. And I think kind of like in hindsight, if you will, just listening to the lyrics and just kind of feeling all that emotion kind of go through him of obviously what he was going through and where things led. So Fighting Myself is the new Linkin Park song that has released, and I thought we'd check it out. Those backwards lyrics are very uneasy.
Sometimes these thoughts in my head speak so loud. Every little thing that I think about just builds on top of the pain and doubt. Even though I wanna just let it out, I try to act like I don't mind it, try to keep my mouth so quiet, but sitting there in my silence just seems to amplify it. When I thought that keeping this inside would make it better, I never thought that I would end up
the way they're layering those
but every time I think I got everything,
those vocals in reverse in the background.
Making more regrets, making more regrets. Out so easily.
I don't normally pause videos, but I kind of want to comment on this a little bit. Like right off the bat, this sounds old school Linkin Park. It has to, right? It sounds like Meteora Linkin Park, which is already an A+. But it's interesting to me how they've kind of layered these reverse vocals in the chorus or the pre-chorus, and then at the beginning of the song. I'm not exactly sure what they're saying, and I'd like to kind of look that up after the fact, but it gives a little bit, at least to me, like a little bit of like an interesting but kind of uneasy vibe to the song. And it just kind of makes me think, like, when you're so much inside your head and you have trouble thinking and your words almost become jumbled, right? And it can seem that way, where it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense what you're trying to do. And I kind of feel like that's conveyed here, and like the lyrics talking about kind of being lost and how he fights himself but he's always losing. I'm gonna try to pay a little bit more attention to the lyrics as we go on, but yeah, so far I'm really digging this.
So easily, I wish I'd held it in so you never knew it built up inside of me. Now I don't know how it overflowed, spilled out unwillingly, but now everything that I learned to hate came out for you to see. I don't want you to promise you can change everything and make it better, cause you can bet I'm gonna end up ruining it forever. And every time you think you got everything put back together, I end up making more regrets, making more regrets. Falling from grace, I watch it all come apart, knowing I could have changed it all from the start. Fighting myself, I always lose. Fighting myself, I always lose. Falling from grace, I watch it all come apart, knowing I could have changed it all from the start. Fighting myself, I always lose. Fighting myself, I always lose.
Yeah, so kind of going back to that, yeah, I mean, and this is relevant not just to my generation and when we were teenagers, and the generation now, and obviously us as 30-year-old millennials and the generations coming from, but there's always that sense of like you're not, there's nothing you can do to make things right. Like, it's a mistake to kind of let out my emotions. It's a mistake to tell you how I feel, and then you're gonna try and fix it, but then I'm just gonna feel bad because I'm gonna keep on screwing up, and just fighting against yourself to get out of that mindset. And I think it's something that a lot of people can identify with. And And I don't think necessarily that's the message of the song. I think at the end of the day, like you have to be able to do those things. You have to get those emotions out. You have to be able to rely on people, because if you keep it all bottled inside, like it's gonna destroy you, right? And I just think, like, musically and kind of what we're hearing, it kind of goes along with that. So maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's one of the things I appreciate about Linkin Park and their lyrics and how everything's tied together. And really, the music itself is very simple. Like, there's a chorus, there's a verse riff, which is just a couple of notes, and it's just the same throughout, but it's still so good that it all ties together really well. So let's finish up the song. Okay. You see, the music is so simple, but it's so good. Oh yeah. The layers of the vocals. You get the chorus with Chester in the background still. So that was Linkin Park with Fighting Myself, and man, that song definitely hit. I think lyric wise specifically, like you got I know I broke down a little bit of what I was thinking as I was going through, but it's a song that really made me want to listen to lyrics. And as a guitar player, typically in a lot of the songs that I listen to, like, I can memorize all the guitar parts. I know when the solo's coming in, I know when the riff is happening, I know all those things, but I don't always pay attention to the lyrics. Actually, there's probably 95% of the songs that I've listened to hundreds of times, I don't even know what the lyrics say. And that's just kind of what my ear gravitates to. But here, I automatically caught on to the initial verse that was happening in the riff with the guitar, but it just stayed the same throughout, and it made me really focus on the lyrics. And the lyrics, like I said earlier, we're talking a lot about not letting things out, about he mentions how he has a weight on his back and he can't run, and he's always looking back, looking at the past, and how that weight impacts the things that he's doing, and really the importance of letting all of that go. And I'm not turning this into a big therapy session for all of us, although you should do therapy. But I think that's the beauty of Linkin Park, and the beauty of Chester Bennington, who honestly wore his emotions out on a sleeve. And I know as a teenager, I didn't appreciate necessarily that, even though the music did speak to me. I still remember the very first time that I saw Linkin Park, and it was on MTV. I was living in Mexico at the time, and I was watching, MTV's breakdown 10 best videos or whatever. And I remember when Linkin Park's Crawling came on, and just from how it started, to the water going down the drain, to it was at that point probably the heaviest thing I've ever heard. Like, I didn't listen to music with screaming in it, and he starts off with the screaming. And then it goes into that beautiful melody in the chorus and throughout. And I just remember being so impacted by that song. And the lyrics of that song and the feel of that song. And really, in hindsight, kind of looking back, I think Linkin Park and that specific song is really what got me into metal eventually. And a lot of people talk about In the End, obviously that was a huge commercial hit, and then Numb and Paper Cut and all of these songs. And really, Linkin Park was really ahead of their time. And between this and Lost, I enjoyed Lost. This one or I'm not going to say it was a better song because I'm no one to judge. They're both incredible songs. I think Fighting Myself is one that spoke to me a little bit more. I liked the musicality of it a lot more. I liked the chorus. I liked, just across the board, I think for me it was just a better song. But let me know what you guys thought. What was your first Linkin Park memory that you have? What does the band mean to you? What does this song mean to you? And let me know if you agree or disagree with me on what I take. I mean, that's the great thing about songs. Obviously, they can be very subjective. What it means to me may be something completely than what it means to you. But definitely enjoyed that. I'm really excited for the 20th anniversary of Linkin Park and seeing if they have any more surprises up their sleeves. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.